With Victor Wembanyama, and I will show you some more just because we can, and because Alan Hahn, watching him play is just ridiculous.
It's breathtaking. It's fun. This is box office. Honestly, name another player in the league that you'd be willing to pay whatever it takes to see him play live.
And the two best shows in sports right now are Victor Wembanyama and Shohei Ohtani. And that's it.
Get up.
As far as Wemby, it's his second career game with 40 points, 15 rebounds, and no turnovers. That ties Moses Malone for the third most of any player ever. Shaq and Anthony Davis, the only ones ahead on that list. So that was one big performance last night. Here are two more in the same game. Celtics and Heat. And I'll tell you ahead of time, there will be no defensive teaching tape involved in the highlight of this game.
Lot of offense.
But Jaylen Brown, Allen, would score the first 11 points of the night for the Celtics.
Yeah, he was in attack mode. They really don't have rim protection. And even Eric Spoelstra just said, our guys tried to defend, although not here. No one ran back for Miami. The Celtics were just on a heater to start this game, including Brown.
The Celtics scored 53 points in the first quarter. Of this game. So that was all Brown. Then the second quarter was all Tatum.
Yeah.
He had 13 points and 12 boards in the first half alone. Celtics by 23. Fourth quarter is not a game. Tatum, he would finish with 25 points, 18 rebounds, and 11 assists. So his first triple-double since returning from injury. And for good measure, Brown, which had been 43, as the Celtics put up 147 points in this game and win it going away. So you got Brown with his seventh 40-point game. You got Tatum with his fifth career triple-double. They're the third Celtic duo with a 40-point game and a 25-point triple-double in the same game. You see the others who have done it generations ago with Nelly and Havlicek. More recently, of course, with McHale and Bird. That's what we're talking about. And it begs the question, with Alan here and Tim McMahon up with us early. And Tim, I will ask it to you. And I've been saying this now for what feels like weeks. If those guys are going to play like that, who in the world, let's just deal with the Eastern Conference, who is beating them if those two guys look like that?
Well, it sure as hell ain't the Miami Heat. Miami is an absolute mess right now. But the Celtics, I think the Washington Wizards defense was contagious when Bam put up 83, by the way.
Wow.
Anyway, the Celtics are absolutely the clear favorites in the Eastern Conference right now. They've got the system. They've got the stars. They've got the proven championship experience, 10-2 since Jason Tatum has returned, and it feels like they are just getting rolling.
I think that's right. Alan, I remember when he was first going to come back, and I heard people talking about, well, it's become Jaylen Brown's team, and how are they going to work him in, and what's it going to do to the chemistry? And I remember thinking to myself, did I miss a meeting? When in the world is it that you add one of the 6 or 7 best players in the world to a team and they get worse? He is not even as good right now as he's going to be 2 weeks from now and 4 weeks from now. And when we get to the playoff series that actually matter, 8 weeks from now, if they look like that, if those guys are playing their best, they are the clear-cut favorite in my mind.
There's no question. And again, to be fair, though, some of the concern had to do with what was Tatum going to look like.
That's right.
Could he still give you something? You weren't expecting this. Now, the efficiency
he looks way better
there.
than you thought he was going to, right?
He even said that he's a little bit surprised by it, and also that he wasn't even sure if he was even going to be able to make the comeback this year. So we all have to talk about it in that context. If we've never seen something like this where you drop yourself into a playoff chase, a playoff race, and you are able to assimilate this quickly. They're 10-2 when he plays in these games.
Yeah.
What the Celtics have now is the formula that they've always had. 2 ISO dominant players who can break you down. You don't have to put them on the floor together. But now what they've done is they've gotten younger, and they basically just have a collection of enthusiastic 3-and-D bots who just go out there and do all the other stuff that needs to be done on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And it really is an amazing thing. And oh, by the way, throw in Peyton Pritchard, who's one of the best 6 men in the league, who can also create a shot and score. And they are a dangerous team.
For sure. And actually, Tim, I really liked your answer. We threw a question at you. Are the Celtics peaking right now? And your answer was no, and I thought you had an interesting reason why.
I mean, listen, Jason Tatum is 12 games into a return from an Achilles, a 10-month rehab, and he is stuffing the box score. He is doing a lot of things to contribute. His return, given the circumstances, has been extraordinary. He's still playing his way into form. He's really not shooting the ball well, especially by his standards. And Green, you said it. He's going to be better in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, maybe in a couple of months when the Celtics are still playing. We have not seen the best of Jason Tatum, and that means we have not seen the best of the Boston Celtics yet this season.
And how scary is that? Like, think about this for a minute, too. Like, is the dynasty rejuvenated? Because what Tim's talking about is them potentially getting to a third NBA Finals in 5 years, which is not something you were thinking about last year when they blew up the roster and had to reset. And this was supposed to be the gap year. And that's not what Celtic culture is about. And that's what they proved this year. They got a chip on their shoulder, and they have the added excitement about adding Tatum. This team, again, is peaking towards the playoffs, which is exactly what you want.
As someone who is from where I am from, it has always been my disinclination, and that's terrible English, to root for the Celtics. I find myself...
It's a great story.
I have so much respect for the way they handled this season, for the way their coach handled the season, for the way Jaylen Brown handled this season, and for Tatum fighting his way back to get to this point. I find myself actually getting swept up in something I normally...
And then Madison Booker in Texas taking on Lauren Betts in UCLA. Our Final Four pregame special from Phoenix. That begins at 6 o'clock. And we will also have a special courtside presentation of both games on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Today, we turn the calendar to April, and that means it's Autism Acceptance Month. And this is a personal cause for one coach in the NBA. And a pretty cool aspect of the league is that when a cause is personal to one, it becomes personal to the entire group. And that is why you're going to see all 30 head coaches in partnership with the NBA and the Coaches Association wearing these custom autism-themed Nike shoes to celebrate. The mission, it is deeply personal to Utah Jazz assistant coach Scott Morrison and his wife, Suzanne. They founded To the Max after their son's diagnosis, turning their personal journey into purpose with their foundation. They're with us now. We now welcome in the assistant coach for the Utah Jazz, Scott Morrison, his wonderful wife, Suzanne. Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. April is Autism Acceptance Month, and it's a month where we all celebrate your sweet son, Max. Suzanne, can you tell us a little bit about Max?
Yeah, Max is 6.5 years old. He was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in 2022. He is non-speaking, but that boy has no problems communicating. We definitely have our struggles, but I would say overall, Max is just... he's so full of love. He is just the brightest light in this world, and he's happy, which I think doesn't get much better than that.
Happy, the brightest light. That's so beautifully put. And on your foundation's website, you all describe Max's autism journey as rewarding and beautiful. And then you also acknowledge some of the unique challenges that come along with him being on the autism spectrum. Can you tell us a little bit about what are some of those rewarding moments, what those look like, and maybe what some of the challenges look like as well?
Yeah, I think reward-wise is Max. He's taught us so many lessons. I think we used to be probably the kind of people that were always looking ahead, and he's taught us to just slow down, be present. At some point in the journey, I saw something that said, if you're constantly looking back, it's depression. If you're constantly looking ahead, it's anxiety. And I mean, I think we live in a society where there's a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and Max just teaches us to be right where we are. We're not on a timeline. There's no set way that we have to grow and do things. And so for that, it's just been such a gift just to be able to be fully present in this world, in this lifetime with your children.
Yeah, what a beautiful reminder to be exactly where your feet are. When you said that depression is looking back and anxiety is looking forward, that certainly spoke to me in some days how I move through the world. Scott, through your foundation, you're leading a sneaker campaign. It involves NBA head coaches to raise funds, to raise awareness for autism acceptance, resources, support. Why was coaching, why was wearing sneakers where you wanted to really target to raise awareness here?
Well, it kind of happened by accident when we first got this job here in Utah. We were very fortunate and felt very grateful of all the support we got for Max. And also recognized that not everyone is as fortunate as we are to have the good NBA medical plan, for example, or the resources that we have in Utah for autistic kids. So we just wanted to do something small to give back. And the first idea we had, me being a big shoe person, Suzanne's a shoe person too.
I love it.
Was to have some of my friends that were head coaches maybe just wear a shoe such as these ones that we're doing this year at the games for a week in April, and then we maybe auction them off or at the very least get a little bit of attention. When we ran the idea by David Fogel with the Coaches Association, he thought it was great. but thought, hey, why not get all 30 coaches involved? And I really didn't think that would be possible. I only knew a handful at the time personally. But within 2 days of David sending an email out, all 30 coaches jumped on board. So it was very touching for me personally that those guys would get behind us in our cause like that. And also kind of cool that we would all, we all compete every night on the court, but come together for this cause because one of our own, being Suzanne and I, felt it was really important.
Yeah, the NBA brotherhood's coming together in that moment. And now this is the third year, right, of the sneaker campaign with all of the NBA head coaches. Suzanne, how have you seen it grow over the years?
Oh my gosh. Well, as Scott just said, I think that first year it went from 10 coaches to 30 coaches within a month.